The lights had not fully turned on yet. Backstage always carried a different kind of energy, half chaos, half silence. Stylists hurried past one another carrying garment bags, managers checked schedules with worried expressions, cameras moved quickly, catching only fragments of what fans would later see for a few fleeting seconds. But somewhere between all the noise, there was always someone quietly paying attention. And according to countless stories shared by staff, fans, and those who had briefly crossed paths with him, that person often seemed to be Jimin. Not the dazzling performer standing beneath stadium lights, not the global superstar whose stage presence could leave entire arenas breathless, but the person behind the cameras, the one people said remembered small things, the one who noticed, the one who cared. For many fans, it has always been easy to admire Jimin because of his talent. His voice carries emotion like it was born to comfort people. His dancing feels almost unreal, graceful one second, powerful the next. Every movement somehow tells a story. But over time, something else quietly began capturing people's attention, his kindness. And strangely enough, it wasn't always found in grand moments. Sometimes it lived in the smallest details. Fans have often talked about the warmth Jimin gives off, the way he speaks gently, the way he makes eye contact when listening, the way he seems genuinely concerned about the people around him. There is something deeply comforting about someone who makes others feel seen. And for many ARMY, that has always been part of Jimin's magic. Because even when cameras aren't focused directly on him, people somehow still notice the way he treats others. Stories have circulated over the years, moments shared quietly by people who work near concerts, production teams, makeup artists, or backstage staff. Not dramatic stories, not flashy headlines, just small moments. The kind of moments most people would never even notice. A respectful greeting, a soft thank you, a quiet gesture of concern. And somehow, those little moments stayed with people. One longtime fan once wrote online that what made Jimin feel special wasn't just how talented he was, it was how human he seemed. He feels like someone who genuinely wants people to feel okay, they wrote. And thousands of fans agreed. Maybe that's part of why so many people feel emotionally connected to him. Because kindness, especially quiet kindness, has a way of staying in your memory. There's a certain softness people often associate with Jimin, but longtime fans know softness doesn't mean weakness. In fact, many say one of the most beautiful things about him is how emotionally aware he seems. He notices when people are nervous, he notices when members are emotional, he notices when someone might need comfort. Throughout countless public moments over the years, fans have watched him quietly stand beside others during difficult times. Sometimes with words, sometimes with silence, sometimes with nothing more than a reassuring presence. And oddly enough, those moments often became unforgettable because compassion can be louder than anything. Imagine the pressure. Imagine being one of the most recognized artists in the world. Imagine living inside endless schedules, rehearsals, cameras, expectations, flights, interviews, performances, and yet somehow still finding time to say thank you to people around you, still remembering names, still bowing politely, still checking in on someone who looks tired. Of course, no fan can know every detail of what happens behind closed doors, and no celebrity is perfect. But what people often point to when describing Jimin is consistency, the same warmth, the same politeness, the same thoughtful energy, again and again. In interviews, in backstage clips, in stories people quietly share. Even fellow members of BTS have, at different times, publicly spoken warmly about Jimin's caring nature and emotional sensitivity, often describing him as someone deeply affectionate and attentive towards others. And perhaps that says something, because kindness, especially quiet kindness, feels different when the people closest to someone notice it too. There's also something quietly beautiful about how Jimin interacts with fans. ARMY often feel genuinely comforted by his words, not because he says perfect things, but because he says honest things. He reminds people to eat, to rest, to stay healthy, to not be too hard on themselves. Simple words. But sometimes simple words matter the most, especially when they arrive at the right moment. Many fans admit there were nights when hearing Jimin speak softly during live streams felt strangely healing, like hearing encouragement from someone who truly meant it. And maybe that's why emotional stories about him spread so quickly online, because kindness creates memories. A performance may last a few minutes, a viral clip may trend for a day, but feeling cared for, that stays. There's one thing fans repeatedly say about Jimin: he makes people feel safe. It's a simple sentence, but perhaps one of the strongest compliments anyone can receive. Safety doesn't always come from big actions. Sometimes it comes from gentleness, patience, listening, being emotionally present. And for many people watching him over the years, that warmth feels real, even in tiny interactions, even through screens. Perhaps especially through screens, because sincerity has a strange way of traveling. You can feel when someone means what they say. You can feel when kindness isn't performed. And maybe that's why stories about Jimin continue to resonate with so many people, not because they're dramatic, but because they feel sincere. There's something quietly emotional about imagining the backstage version of someone famous, the version the cameras barely catch, the tired version, the stressed version, the unfiltered version. And according to many stories shared publicly over the years, people often describe Jimin as surprisingly considerate in those unseen moments too. The person who says hello first, the person who bows politely, the person who checks if someone has eaten. Small things, always the small things. Funny enough, those tiny details are often what leave the deepest impressions. Not luxury, not fame, not popularity, but warmth. You know what's interesting? People rarely become emotional over talent alone. Talent impresses. Kindness stays. That might explain why conversations about Jimin often become unexpectedly emotional among fans. One person mentions a thoughtful interaction, another remembers comforting words from years ago. Someone else talks about how his sincerity helped them through a difficult period. And suddenly, an entire comment section becomes emotional, because somehow, one person's kindness reaches strangers too. There's a reason people often describe Jimin using words like comfort, warmth, and safe place. Those aren't words fans throw around lightly. They come from emotional connection, and emotional connection takes trust. Maybe that's what makes his public image feel so beloved. Not perfection, not distance, but humanity. The feeling that beneath all the success, someone still tries to be gentle, still tries to care, still tries to treat people kindly. And honestly, in a world that often feels loud and rushed, that kind of energy stands out, especially when coming from someone constantly surrounded by pressure. Perhaps that's why so many staff stories, even the smallest ones, tend to linger in fandom spaces, because people remember kindness. Years later, they still remember who treated them respectfully, who thanked them, who made them feel appreciated, who saw them. And sometimes, according to many shared impressions, Jimin seems to leave exactly that feeling behind, not through grand speeches, not through dramatic gestures, just warmth, quiet warmth, the kind that lingers long after someone leaves the room. For fans, maybe that realization feels emotional too, because while performers often seem larger than life, moments like these remind people that gentleness still matters, character still matters. The way someone treats people when no one is watching still matters. And honestly, maybe that's the real reason stories about Jimin's kindness continue to spread even online. Not because fans expect perfection, but because sincerity feels rare. And when people encounter someone who seems genuinely thoughtful, they remember it, they talk about it, they hold on to it. Of course, none of us can fully know who a person is in private. Only the people closest to them truly can. But public moments, repeated impressions, and countless stories can still leave emotional echoes. And for many fans, those echoes tell a comforting story. A story about someone who seems to care deeply, someone who values people, someone whose kindness feels just as memorable as their talent. Maybe that's why so many ARMY feel protective of him, why they celebrate small moments, why even simple acts of kindness can suddenly go viral online. Because behind the superstar image, many fans feel they see something softer, something sincere, something quietly beautiful. And perhaps that's the part of Jimin people carry with them the longest. Not only the breathtaking performances, not only the unforgettable stage presence, but the feeling, the warmth, the kindness that somehow reaches people even through a screen. So when fans ask, what is Jimin really like behind the cameras? Perhaps the answer isn't dramatic after all. Maybe it's something quieter, something simpler. Someone who, from many public impressions and shared moments, seems to understand the power of kindness. And maybe that alone explains why so many people continue to admire him, not just as an artist, but as a person. Because talent can make someone unforgettable, but kindness makes people stay.